Hello and welcome to News 6. Today's show is brought to you by the 6th grade classes of Gomer Elementary. Here's Mike with the first story about our school.
The third graders at Gomer Elementary learn through a program called Workshop Way. This program helps students build responsibility and self-esteem. It also teaches children to work independently. Workshop Way does away with any type of sheet work, and it gives a constant review of work that a student has already learned. This gives the child a feeling of a job well done. The Workshop Way is started in Gomer by Mrs. Clara Slugabell, a third grade teacher. She has used this program for 6 years. The class works at the workshop the first half hour of the school day and at any time they are not having a whole class lesson. There is something for every subject in the workshop. Learning never stops at Gomer Elementary. Last month, students came with their hobbies, pets, and crafts for the learning fair. One student, Cynthia Winnington, brought in her butterfly collection. She started her collection 2 years ago with her father's help. Vicki Twining brought in her mother cat and 2 kittens. Nicole Malenko, owner of a sleep machine, tried to hypnotize people by sound. She assembled her project on her own. We also had sculptures of Washington, D.C. and maps of the United States. With more, here's Vicki.
Another big event at our school took place almost a year ago. 400 students loaded their buses with boxes and boxes of candy. Knocking on doors in a 50-mile radius, they attempted to sell their product. Their goal? New playground equipment. At the end of the 2 weeks, the student body sold almost $16,000 worth of candy. The new equipment was installed last summer in the beginning of this school year. It includes a log cabin, a dome, a cable walk, and a jungle gym. Each child sold about $40 worth of candy. The top 2 salespeople, Amy Manley and Sonia Kreitz, both sold $500 worth of candy and were awarded a television set and a $25 savings bond. What did Gomer students get out of this experience? Well, we learned how to be a salesman, and we also loved the final results, scratches, bruises, and splinters. Have fun, Gomer. We've earned it. Have you ever walked down the main street of a town and seen all white houses? You can in Gomer. Perhaps Gomer's one claim to fame was that this fact was mentioned in Ripley's Believe It or Not. The first settlers came to Gomer by wagon in the fall of 1833. The church was and still is the center of most of the town's activities. It was built of logs in 1839 and still stands as part of the United Church of Christ. Gomer was originally a Welsh community, and it still is. The Welsh language is still spoken by a few citizens. One of the customs of the town is the annual Songfest, Gynalfa Gani. At this event, songs of the native land are sung in English and Welsh. Another Welsh custom is the St. David celebration held the 1st of March. This is a big dinner to honor David, the Saint of Wales. The Welsh are known for their hospitality and their love for music, which makes the community of Gomer a nice place to live. Rick is next with some more stories about our community.
One of the organizations that really makes our school better is the Gomer Dads Club. This club was organized in 1950, and today there are at least 150 members. Their most important event of the year is the 4th of July celebration. They serve homemade food and also have carnival booths and games for the entire family. The club grounds are used by the community for many events, like family reunions, ice cream socials, and picnics. The Dads Club donated $1,000 toward the purchase of television sets and helped sponsor educational TV from Channel 57 in Bowling Green. They also fund about 15 baseball teams in the spring and summer. The club owns one of the best baseball diamonds in Allen County. It is used a lot by the Elida Bulldogs, the former state champs. The Main Street in Gomer is also thought of as the Main Street of the United States. It is the famous Lincoln Highway, which stretches more than 3,000 miles from New York City to San Francisco. Construction for the road began in 1914, after President Taft decided the highway would help national unity. The road is also known as US 30 for most of its length. The highway passes through 13 states before it ends at Lincoln Park in San Francisco. Now back to Wendy with our final stories.
In 1939, Gomer received national attention when Admiral Byrd's snow cruiser, on its way to New York for shipment to Antarctica, clipped the side of a bridge east of Gomer and fell into Pike Run. Over 200,000 people came from miles around to see the large cruiser. It looked like a monster to people because of its size and weight. It was 20 feet wide and 55 feet long. The snow cruiser was traveling only about 5 miles an hour when the accident happened. Many years ago, tribes of Indians inhabited northwest Ohio. How do we know? A native of Gomer, Mr. Gilbert Walls, has collected Indian artifacts all over northwest Ohio for most of his life. His collection is of great value. News 6 reporter Albert Long talked to Mr. Walls about his collection.
Mr. Walls, when did you start collecting arrowheads and artifacts?
Well, in 1920, I graduated from Gomer High School, and I started in on the new farm that my dad bought and started hunting them.
What is your most expensive artifact?
Well, I probably would have to say this chocolate birdstone, Albert.
Where did you find most of your artifacts?
Well, I found a lot of them starting down on the old farm, and I found a lot of them there, and then after I got started, I picked up what I thought was the most of them there. Then I started getting permission from the farmers, and I hunted on their farms.
What prompted you in collecting artifacts?
Well, I just discovered this accidentally on the farm where we lived, and I was working horses back in those days, and I walked around my disc that I was pulling, and there laid this little stone that I don't have in my hand at this time. I just laying over on the table.
Do you still look for artifacts?
Oh, yeah. You bet I do. Of course, I don't have too much time now. You see, I help my son down at the farm, and then I work in the museum part-time, so I just don't have too much time this time of year. In the fall, I do. In the fall of the year, I have a lot of time.
Thank you for watching News 6. Today's program was brought to you by the 6th grade classes of Gomer Elementary under the direction of Mrs. Linda Whittington. This is the last News 6 program for this school year, but News 6 will return again next year. Have a great summer vacation.